If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
That's it.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
I don't really wish to speak to Elon Musk. I wouldn't mind repeatedly punching Elon Musk in the face. Might be an improvement for him because he already has that like mashed potato face anyway.
And body.
Stands right now. And body.
His body looks like a Ziploc bag full of old beat mashed potatoes.
I got to tell you, we're not going to talk about it because I can think of nothing I'd like to do less than talk about the substance of the first cabinet meeting today with the Trump cabinet and Elon Musk, who was not in the cabinet but was basically running the meeting essentially. And like, there's no more perfect picture or no more perfect encapsulation of the picture that was set out of Elon standing at the head of the table, talking with everyone's attention on him, and Trump sitting, looking down, probably at his phone, shoulder slumped, not paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, well, sheepishly allowing the real president to handle the meeting while wearing a fucking baseball cap in the fucking White House. Amazing. We've really come very, very far down from the standards. Don't wear a fucking tan suit. But
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ask for Dijon mustard
or arugula, right?
Yeah.
Now you got a fucking edgelord douchebag handling meetings. Oh, goody. Yeah, so there's plenty to talk about. Look, right up at the top, obviously you heard Jasmine Crockett, who, if we had an award of the week, it would go to her. Look, I like that energy, man. I do. Look, the rules are clearly been thrown in the garbage. Then take the fucking gloves off. Oh, she shouldn't say that. Oh no, I think that's exactly how she should talk. You notice the response? The response wasn't, oh my God. Everyone's like, yeah, no, that's awesome. High five. Like, yeah.
I mean, to be frank, I'm fucking shocked that I didn't see any stories about Republican pearl clutching over her
Donald
telling Elon Musk to fuck off.
Never.
I know.
He would never.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And Elon Musk, it's not like he calls people the R word on his platform like he's a fucking 12-year-old kid in the 90s.
Well, that's okay, Jay. That's something we took from them that they're finally able to take back.
Oh, finally. Oh, good for them.
Because of all the liberal cancel culture that went in face. Did you also did you see Christopher Rufo just like tell us what we already knew? Like, oh, the problem isn't cancel culture. The problem is who was doing the canceling. Like, there should absolutely be right wingers being able to cancel people, but we didn't.
Go ahead.
We just didn't want to be canceled by liberals.
Like, all right, go ahead. Who are you going to cancel? Go ahead. Go ahead. Like, you guys would cancel someone for existing. Like, that's not.
Well, and they do, or speaking.
Yeah. Like, I don't care that you exist or even say, speak your mind. That's fine. But if you say bigoted things, yeah, people are going to go after you. Like, it's not, well, you just can't say anything. Yeah, you can't really call people the N-word on TV. Sorry. Like, is it, I know there's like weird lines.
I wonder if that's like the true peak of the mountain that they're going for right now. We want to be able to say the N-word publicly.
I think they should be allowed. I think they should be allowed. I think they should be allowed, and I'd like to see them do it as publicly as they want, so they can suffer immediate consequences for their actions.
They can reenact the scene from Die Hard with a Vengeance if they want to. I think that would be totally fine.
This is the fucking sandwich board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't have done that. You better get in here and get yourself killed, white boy. So pushback, Brad. That's the big story this week. The pushback is working slowly.
It is. It's important to remind people because it's tough, right? Like we've been talking the last couple of weeks about the absolute deluge of bullshit that this administration is trying to throw out, right. And you feel hopeless. You're doing a lot of doom scrolling. You're wondering like how they can be stopped, especially if they seem to not want to pay much attention to the courts and things of that nature. But unfortunately, these things move slowly. And like the next couple stories are not to say that you can't keep screaming and you can't keep being aware of these things and you can't keep pushing your representatives to fight but it just goes to show you that like things are working and there is some response to the insanity that's going on right now, even if that response seems quiet in the face of continued insanity happening. Like this is not to say like, oh, the courts will save you, the norms will save you, but just that there is things happening right now, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
The big one was that so basically, the Trump administration, Elon Musk specifically, was like, hey, like we basically canceled all these payments for USAID. We basically killed USAID. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And they were sued, obviously. A temporary restraining order was put out by a federal judge that says, hey, you need to knock this shit off. Like, let's do this. They didn't. So they've been pushing this. And it got in front of a federal judge in district court, Judge Amir Ali. Basically, and this is why this is super important, right? Because the reason why we push people to go to court and be like, oh, the courts aren't going to save you. But at the same time, like, it's one thing to say wild shit on Twitter, or it's one thing to say wild shit, in the White House or in the Oval Office. But the thing about being in a courtroom is that if you're a lawyer and you say some wild shit that's patently false, there are real consequences that can be handed out to you immediately. So it's always hilarious when these Trump lawyers get in front of judges where in a situation where they can't lie and they can't, feed the judge some bullshit. And all of a sudden, like, their demeanor gets very, lot more recalcitrant, let's just say.
Yeah.
As far as
right. But also to your point, it also allows you to see what's under the hood, right?
Right.
Because the judge can ask very pointed questions, that because they're not allowed to lie because they don't want to be fucking disbarred. They are forced to be very honest, or at least less bullshit. So then it allows us to get that, because of reporting, good reporting, that information gets pushed out. And so it's like, oh, this is what they're really doing, right? Yeah, they're giving you all the fucking song and dance here, but when they get into the courtroom, they gotta be honest about what they're trying to do. And that is something, right? That there is power in understanding that truth and having that sort of the cloud removed around those things.
Yeah. And some of the stuff we've seen from this particular hearing is that the Trump lawyer was trying to allege that, oh no, we did start the payments. And the judge was like, well, then why is the plaintiff saying that they still haven't seen any money? Like, you need to tell me what's going on. And the lawyer's like, yeah, like I'm not in a position where I can tell you that the government has resumed payments. And the judge is like, you're the fucking representative of the government in this case. Like, if you don't fucking know, then you're then get me somebody who does.
Right.
And
like,
so
why did you just say that you did? And that's what they would do from a podium in a press conference. Yeah, we're doing that thing. Well, but you're not. Yeah, but we did.
Yeah.
And
so the judge's whole point is that, like, the whole point of this restraining order is that you can't just fucking turn off this tap immediately of payments that have been allocated by Congress. Like, currently the laws as it exists today is that Congress says, hey, put this money in these places, and the president is supposed to do that. Like, that's the whole fucking deal. And so the judge, like, that's why the strings were in place, because while this goes through the legal process, we don't want to stop what's going on until it's adjudicated. And so he ordered the administration to prove by the close of business today, I think, that the payments were going out. And the Trump administration, like the DOJ, asked for an extension on the judge's ruling because they're like, hey, you gave us like 2 days to basically allocate, all these millions of dollars. And the judge is like, no, like, you should have been doing that weeks ago. You still need to fucking make it happen by the end of the day. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself back in front of me again. Mm-hmm. So, like, this was a pretty big fucking deal. And again, like, I would say the poor lawyers who are forced to go out here and defend this shit, but they're going into this with eyes wide open. They know what they're fucking signing up for. If they don't want to deal with it, they can fucking leave.
Exactly.
So yeah, fuck those guys. I'm glad they're getting fucking embarrassed in a courtroom, and this hopefully will at least. And it's interesting, right? Because as a result of this, like, remember how Elon Musk had like the fucking, oh, here's like the wall of receipts. If you go to the Doge website, you can see like all these things that we saved.
All the same.
Well, the top 5 quote unquote savings that Doge has made so far have all been taken down from that wall.
Yep,
because they weren't real at all.
Yeah,
like,
they said they did a total of like $8 billion in savings. It turns out it's like $8 million.
Right. And there was one transaction where it's like, oh, we saved $633 million. And that transaction was listed at that much because they actually did like $200 million, but they listed it 3 times. And so they like added it up there. And that's how they did that. So like, it's all fucking smoke and mirrors. And we all know that. And they know that.
It's disinformation. It's not misinformation, which is like, oh, this was incorrect. Sorry about that. It's disinformation because it is on purpose, right? And that is a very important distinction. And they do that. I mean, in the quote unquote cabinet meeting today, Musk is like, we're going to make some mistakes. Here's the thing though. You're firing people based on these quote unquote mistakes. You don't get to make mistakes. And if you do, it can't just be like, whoopsie doodle. That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
And by the way, like when he said that in the cabinet meeting today, when he was like, yeah, we make mistakes. Did you hear what he cited as the example of a mistake that they made in that, like, to demonstrate that?
Oh, it was the Ebola thing. Right.
Yeah. We cut off funding to make sure Ebola doesn't spread. Whoopsie. Our bad. But we fixed it. And then the press reached out to the folks who were in charge of that. And like they're like, hey, they said they cut this off, and then the money's coming back. Like they fixed this, right? They're like, no, they have not fixed it. Like we have not seen any money coming back into this. We're still dry right now. Again, like these people lie as easily as they breathe.
Right. And to me, what is the purpose of lying? If you're so tough and you're so in control, and you know what you're doing, and you don't regret what you're doing, why don't you just be honest?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because you know what you're doing is shady as fuck. Like and you're self-aware of that you're doing something bad, right? It's like in law, right? Like this idea of like you're aware that you're committing a crime, and in this case, you actually are committing a crime as well. So, yeah.
And again, another way, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but we got there was a development in this story. Them trying to be like, oh no, Elon Musk isn't the head of DOGE. Yeah, like he's a presidential special advisor, but he's not the head of DOGE. And reporters were like, okay, well then who is the head of DOGE? And the Trump administration was like, oh, we can't tell you that. like it's a secret. We can't possibly say. Like they literally asked in a press briefing the press secretary, who is the person who's in charge of DOGE if it's not Elon Musk? And the press secretary's answer is literally like, I'm not going to name that person in this venue. Like, bro, you're the government. Like, it's not supposed to be a fucking secret. Like the whole point is that, you're publicly available. And in the same breath, she talked about like, oh, like we're really big on transparency. Like it's super important to us to be
like, to be transparent. So can we get the name now, or is that not a possibility?
No, it's a secret. So finally, they did give up a name. Allegedly,
they just picked this poor random woman.
Well, so this woman named Amy Gleason, who worked for the U.S. Digital Service, which is the department that was converted into DOGE once the Trump administration came in. And she is a Trump appointee. But this woman lives in Tennessee, right? So not even in Washington.
She was vacationing in Mexico at the time.
Yeah, she was vacationing in Cancun. Like I almost thought about asking Jay if he could just take a quick trip over and
just be like, Amy, hey, those right. So fun.
So again, they have someone who is. I mean, like you said, this fucking poor woman. Like she is just being set up to just try to take slings and arrows. But again, like we all know what the fucking score is. Like Elon Musk is speaking authoritatively.
Think we're idiots? Really?
Right.
He doesn't run Doge? Okay.
And again, I'm pretty sure this is just to try to insulate Elon Musk with executive privilege so that he
Mhm.
can try to keep his communications under wraps. I don't think it's going to work. I think, again, if you get this in front of a non, like fucking hack judge, that it could be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, here's like 20 examples of the president saying Elon Musk runs Doge. Here's interviews with Trump's chief of staff who says, yeah, Elon Musk runs Doge. Like, here's Elon Musk saying that like he's doing the hiring and he's, he has executive oversight on Doge. Pretty sure he's running Doge. Like, I don't think that's going to work, Koji. Sorry.
It's a pretty stupid.
It's an incredibly stupid. And again, like, I understand why they're doing it.
Of course.
They're sitting, they know that the press will, sometimes are like a playful dog who all you have to do is throw the dog toy to the other side of the room and they'll go chase after it, right?
Squirrel.
Do a little squirrel action. But come on. Like, and again, it doesn't help Elon Musk when he is so incredibly vain that he must be the center of attention at all times. So even if he was trying to lay low, his personality simply wouldn't allow him to do it.
Yeah. The image for last week's episode is him wielding a chainsaw at CPAC. Not exactly the most subtle person we've ever met.
Right.
Like in politics. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So continuing from there, GOP congressmen and women have been dealing with something that they have not seen in quite some time, which is angry supporters in their town hall meetings. And they do what all Republicans do when they have bad town hall meetings. They just stop having them. Like, fuck these people. I didn't sign up for this shit. And so they do these town halls and they go back to their states. And these people are fucking laying into them, calling them, ineffective and allowing for, this authoritarian to run rampant all over Washington, D.C., destroying people's jobs and all this other stuff. And to that, there was one guy who says, I forget which state he was in. He's some Republican member of the House. And he was like, I remember when Joe Biden was president and you guys said all the same things about him. And they all booed. And I thought, he's out of line, but he's right. Like, you guys did do this. You always think that Democrats, these are Republican voters now. You always think that Democrats are these oligarchs and they're just imposing their horrible will on you by like making you not yell at gay people from a bridge and throw rocks at them. Like, they're like, oh, he's destroying the country by helping people and, being reasonable and all this other stuff. And so for them, it like that guy's actually not wrong. That is how you react. The problem is, in this case, they're actually right. Like, you guys are actually letting a guy do these horrible authoritarian things. But when he said that, I laughed because they're like, boo, that's not true. I'm like, dude, that's 100% true. Like, that's
the thing is that like the ultimate backfire to conditioning your people to be like, oh, like government overreach is the thing you should fear the most, and it's terrible. And then like when you go in there and fuck shit up, people are like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you guys were the government overreach bad party. Like, why are you coming in here and just fucking dynamiting everything,
right,
without even fucking thinking about it? And again, like it's because these Congress people have districts that they represent that have where federal agencies are, and they have jobs. Like this guy Rich McCormick in Georgia was one of the ones that probably went the most viral over the weekend, the reactions that he got. And that's because the fucking CDC is in his fucking backyard and they're fucking laying off people at the CDC. So it's like, hey bro, like we fucking voted for you. I expect you to fucking keep us safe, but you're just kind of going along with this. And it's just funny to watch them try to rationalize the bullshit. And it's just so weird for me because like we talk all the time, like how much of this is like them being completely fucking cynical and how many of them are like true believers. Right. Like it's always kind of hard to tell like which way it goes with a lot of these fucking idiots. But it was funny to watch them come back from these town halls and all of a sudden like a lot of Republicans were going on Fox or going on, CNN and like, well, I think we need to be a little bit more careful with how we're cutting things and maybe take a more nuanced approach and maybe come at this with a scalpel instead of a fucking sledgehammer. Like a lot of them came back and were very cowed once they got back into DC after getting fucking barraged by their constituents. But then, to your point, the solution to this is not going to be, hey, maybe we should take a more moderate approach. The solution to this is going to be, hey, let's stop hearing from our constituents because they're not saying what we want to hear.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised. This is what Republicans do, right? This idea of who cares what our people think, and I don't understand that. Like, as a voter, if you keep seeing them, anytime you push back, they just ignore you. Like, and not in that like weird politician thing where we're just going to do what we want, but just, yeah, we're just not going to ever let you speak to us again. I don't understand why every 2 years you like rush out to support these guys, but
because they know they can, because the Republicans have never had to pay a consequence for that. Like half of these people who you see like going viral in like the fucking leopards subreddit, where it's like, I voted for Trump all 3 times and I'm in support of what DOGE is doing, taking care of waste, but I wasn't talking about my job when they did that. Like, I can't believe that they fucking fired me, or they fired my wife, or fired my sister, or whoever the fuck. But half of them are still going to just turn around and vote Republican anyway. Doesn't fucking matter.
It's amazing. It's just you got to learn a hard lesson, and then even when it's like cracking you in the side of the head, they're like, could you hit me harder? Is it harder, daddy?
These people are not
right.
Real. They don't have the wrinkly brains like a lot of us do around them. That's right.
Smooth as sort of the top of my head. So, all right. So from there, hackers have entered the chat, as you wrote, which I think is really funny. Yes, AI video of Trump kissing Elon's bare feet plays through the House of Urban Development office as DOGE is there to, cut waste.
And they literally could not figure out how it was being done, so they had to literally go around and unplug all the TVs in the office because they couldn't figure out how it was on there, how to remove it, all that jazz. So again, the second week in a row, like, is AI bad really? Like, I guess it has some good uses.
Oh, right. Who should be killed? The president and Elon Musk.
That's right.
We should listen to the robots, guys. There is going to come that moment, by the way, where like the singularity or whatever the fuck you want to call it, where robots are like totally sentient and like artificial intelligence is like a real thing, and it's not just regurgitating, things that we kind of feed into it, but it is really learning. And they're going to eventually ask, which of these parties does better by society? Like, which thing is better? And there's going to be that moment where the robots are like, it is clearly not the Republicans. And they're going to be like, these robots are corrupt. We need to destroy them. Like, it won't be like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. They'll be like, no, fucking somebody changed the code inside or something like that, right? That's what will happen.
I mean, we're already seeing it. Like, every time, it seems like between community notes or between Grok, anytime anything that Elon Musk opens up to like public training or public comment and he doesn't like it, he fucking shuts it down because he's like, no, I want you to tell the answers that I want to hear, not the truth. I need you to make me feel better.
It's inconvenient to my narrative.
Yes.
Stop breaking the
law. But I think most importantly, though, among anybody else, most importantly, we're starting to see some response from the shareholders, which are truly
the true Americans,
the ones who, truly the ones who run the Republican Party and who kind of point their way forward. We famously saw a couple companies, as soon as Trump came into office, decided to immediately rush to be like, look, Mr. Trump, we're scrapping our DEI programs just like you wanted. So that means you're going to leave us alone and not do anything bad. And oh no, you still want to stick the DOJ on us. And our stock started tanking. Oh no, that's so bad.
We could not have seen this coming.
Yeah, we could not have possibly seen this coming. And so, I think a lot of companies are being like, oh, like, the people that actually spend money on our goods and services would like us to continue with DEI. So what we saw, very notably, Apple's shareholders, you overwhelmingly rejected a proposal to end Apple's DEI programs that they're currently running right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Apple's going to keep this in place. Not just Apple, by the way. If you're like, oh, those fucking tech bros out in California, of course they're going to vote for this. How about none other, like the fucking lib cuck bastion company of John Deere's? Their shareholders also voted the same way.
How about this? Here's a new headline. PepsiCo joins Target and Walmart in rolling back DEI policy.
What's I feel like isn't there? Oh no, that's Sprite. Never mind. I was gonna say doesn't Pepsi have a soft drink that's kind of a big NBA sponsor that they might not want to piss off? No, that's Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is probably not going to be rolling back the.
I'm sorry. No. I apologize. No, I read that wrong. No, Pepsi is joining Target and Walmart in getting rid of DEI policies.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant. I at first, I was like, oh, Pepsi's making a bad move, but I guess since they don't have any major sponsorships, but maybe they do, and maybe some folks will be like, hey, maybe we'd rather do business with Coke instead.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Walmart and Target are suffering because of this.
Yeah, they're taking it on the chin.
Yeah,
right now.
Well, Target is closing stores. Target, my heart. I love Target. As a black person, that's like it's like Martin Luther King, the people who run Costco, and then Target. Like these are the things that black people love, right? Target, if you will, if you buy clothes there, and I do. Yeah, they're having to close fucking stores because black people are just like, oh, word, fuck off. Walmart is like, our numbers are not looking great. Yeah, and they will continue to not look great as long as you continue your bullshit. And frankly, even when you fix it, they should still continue to look bad. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Learn a lesson. Yeah. And again, do you think that the world is going to be like this with this Trump shit forever? Like, okay, man, I don't think so. And I'm not saying it's going to like change back in fucking 2 years and everything will be fucking back to normal. But this idea that the world is only ever going to be like this it's a rough gamble, especially in America.
Yeah.
We love to fucking sway back and forth in extreme ways, which is part of our biggest problems. We don't stick to anything. But yeah, this idea that, let's just screw these people over. Bitch, these are your fucking customers. What are you doing?
Right. And it'll be curious. And I know that, that when companies do this, it's absolute performative bullshit.
Oh, 100%.
But it'll be curious to see whose logos change on social media on June 1st and whose do not at this point. That'll be a very curious litmus test to see who's really drinking the Kool-Aid and who realizes, oh shit, we still need people to shop with us in order to remain successful. And then another fantastic sign. Now, again, take this with a bit of a grain of salt because this stock has shown itself to be somewhat of a meme stock compared to other stocks that are out there.
Sure.
But if you guys haven't taken a look at what Tesla's been going through in the stock market for the past couple of weeks, do yourself a favor because it'll put a smile on your face when you see it.
It is. It ain't doing so good.
Literally lost 30% of share value in 2 months, I want to say.
It's lost 27% in a month.
There you go.
So
it's it's taken its market cap below $1 trillion.
Yep.
For the first time in a while. So,
oh well.
Yep. And again, like if you want to see Elon Musk hit where it actually hurts, Tesla stock is where he's hit where it actually hurts because that makes up a significant portion of his net worth.
It does. So look, I think that's great. Good. Tumble. Because
keep going.
Yeah, his sales everywhere are down like significantly. All over Europe, they're down like 20, 30.
Protests outside of Tesla dealerships all over the country every day.
Yep.
They're again.
We didn't talk about it last week, but like somebody, quote, as the article said, someone liquidated a Tesla showroom with bullets last week. So, by the way, liquidating something with bullets is a dope fucking way to write that.
Yeah. Look, just goes to show you, if I was going to fuck around with people's well-being, with their healthcare, with their retirement benefits and stuff like that, I might want to divest myself from holdings that I own that can be affected by the general public before I go ahead and start fucking around with that stuff. But again, who am I but just a simple country podcaster?
Yeah,
not too bright. So
yeah. Just a simple country chicken. What do I know?
Yep.
Yeah. So good. Look, if anything will quote unquote save us, it will be the greediness of business owners and shareholders.
100%.
Hey, they're gonna ban all the SSRI drugs and everything else. And AstraZeneca's like, who's gonna ban it, motherfucker? Like, you sure about that? We got shooters. Like, stop fucking around. This is like this pharmaceutical industry. We got more money than God. We are God on Earth.
Yeah,
knock it off. So yeah, maybe the greed of corporations will be our savior, and then when reasonable people get back in power, we will crush them with taxes. Like, you shut up, or you get the whip next time. They're like, all right. Just don't let the other guys back in. All right, we got it. We'll pay.
And that's why it's so funny. That's why it's so funny to me to watch like all the stuff that Elon Musk is doing for his own enrichment, essentially. Like, you think like the fucking big banks are going to be like, yeah, no, like, we have no problem with you putting your thumb on the scale to set up, X as a payment app to compete with all of our payment apps that we're using all over the place. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. They'd be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, we had to jump through all these fucking hoops in order to get this shit from you guys. We're paying you fucking millions of dollars a year to make sure that, we're keeping our station. And this guy gets to just fucking walk in the door and have it however he wants it. Fuck you.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, again, please, by all means, piss off the pharmaceutical companies. That'll be great for you.
Yeah.
Those companies will like, oh, did you want ketamine? We're out. Don't call here. No, I need it. Actually, here, half more. All right, I have a question before we get out of the big topic. Is James Carville correct? So James Carville came out, human snake man hybrid. James Carville. He came out and he was like, listen, we are a month away from the Trump administration just eating itself and collapsing under its own weight and basically falling completely underwater with public support. And a lot of people were like, James Carville's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. He said that Kamala Harris was going to win. He was wrong about that. And, James Carville's an old man and he's just crazy. Don't listen to him. And he was on Cuomo's show recently, I guess today or maybe yesterday, and he was basically like, "Yeah, sometimes you got to sometimes you got to roll a grenade out there." And he basically was like, "I just said it to get people thinking about what's happening, right? Like to just kind of create this conversation." He wrote an op-ed for New York Times too. Like, he believes it, but he was just like, if he says it, he knows that he's a big enough name that it'll start to move the conversation, right? Now, I actually agree with him on the face of this. The details is where I don't agree with him, which is he's saying that Democrats should just step back and do nothing.
Well, yeah, that's the other part, because I had heard about him saying this, and no, like, you have to get caught trying here. Like you can't just fucking sit back and just be like, well, just let them eat themselves, and we'll rule over the fucking ruins once it's all said and done. Because again, these are actual lives that are in the balance here. I go back to my very firmly stated opinion on all of this. If you're over the age of 75, I don't need to hear from you on politics anymore. Yep, 100%.
Wow,
you got it. Yes,
and right.
Yeah, yes, and like no, like it's I just don't need to hear from you. Like, James Carville, and because the problem is that these guys, these consultants, and like I like James Carville. Like, he's obviously like one of those people who's entertaining at the very least. But the problem is,
he literally asked the question, "When's the last time Trump saw his own dick?" Which is just hilarious.
Yeah,
okay, like, it's just funny.
But the problem, and especially with these like guys who were successful, very successful for a moment in time, right?
Yeah, is
that kind of crystallizes this thought process in their head of like, well, my way is the right way because I won doing this. And
Right.
so they kind of put their fucking stake in the ground on this, like, hey, this is the way things should be done. And then the country or the party keeps on moving past them. And they're like, well, what the fuck you guys doing? Not listen to me. Like I won. Like, this is the way things should be done. We're like, yeah, like that was relevant like 30 years ago, but it's
literally
not
in the
relevant today.
19.
Yeah, like, and you're seeing the same thing with like David Axelrod. Like David Axelrod, who was Obama's campaign chief when he first got elected, for the last several years has been like, hey, this is the way to be successful in Democratic politics. No. But David Axelrod, like, your way was successful 15 years ago. Like, it worked 15 years ago. Bully for you. We're past that now. Like, things
the
have
landscape
changed and evolved. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, all these old political consultants that typically they just typically don't move the same way that the party moves. And I'm not saying we have all the answers either. Like, obviously, like, we tend to skew very progressive on a lot of issues. And I would say we're much further to the left of the general American electorate. Like, the general American electorate has proven time and time again, like, they love fucking moderation. They are scared of moving in one direction or the other of a far distance. Like, they like to keep it right in the center as much as possible.
And progress
and that's
nowhere.
Yeah. You're right. And so that's a tough thing to have to fucking deal with for us, because obviously, like, you know, in many ways, we're no different than folks on the right who say, like, no, guys, if you just fucking try this, we're telling you it's going to be fucking awesome. And people are like, yeah, but I'm scared though. Like, yeah, that's the 12-foot end of the pool. I'm going to stay over here in the 3 feet where my head's still, you know, very much above water and I don't have to worry about drowning. Like, that's the challenge. But that doesn't mean that the old ways are still the right ways. You still have to move with people as they're moving. And this is why Joe Biden was so effective, and it's how he became president, because Joe Biden literally moved with the Democratic Party wherever he needed to in order to be successful. Like, he was able to see, oh, this position that I had 30 years ago, not really good position to take anymore. Maybe I need to change how I view this. Hey, I'm a Catholic. I don't really like abortion, but I'm not in the no abortion party. So I need to be a little bit more accepting of this. Yeah. On my side.
Right. Yeah. Look, I think Carville, the thing about James Carville is it is very easy to dislike him because he's old, right? And you're like, what does this old man know? Right. 100%. He also comes off as being like obnoxious. Yeah. Like shocking news. He helped put a guy into office against, you know, like, he helped Clinton get into office, and not only just get into office, kick ass in the 90s, right? Like, they did. Even with a fucking blowjob scandal, those motherfuckers still kicked ass. Like, amazing work. Like, it just is. Now, you can look back and go, oh, the third way was fucking bullshit and it caused a lot of problems for Democrats going forward and all that. 100%. But that's hindsight. Like, in the moment, these guys were like, get the fuck out of the way. We're just winning. The economy is fucking roaring. Like, they're doing all the right things, right? And look, I'll be honest. Not all of Bill Clinton's economic successes are all due to him, right? Some of it, in actuality, especially in the beginning, George H.W. Bush is responsible for, right?
Yeah, George H.W. Bush had to eat a political bullet to give Bill Clinton 100%. A good springboard in order to jump out of the.
When he decided to raise taxes, when he said he wouldn't, that was the right move. He paid dearly for it, and also long term, the country paid dearly for it, because now Republicans are like, we're never raising taxes. It's like,
right.
Okay, he was actually right about it. They're like, yeah, but he lost. Right. And it's the same thing with Carville. Like, but I won. So never change anything. So Carville has, I think he is stuck in time, right? He is very much stuck in the 90s. But he's also, there are things that you can learn from that time. Not everything, but there are certain tactics and stuff like that Republicans still use. And he's been sitting here watching this shit, and he's been very much a part of it for a long fucking time. So when people just completely dismiss him, I think that's a terrible idea. When people completely take what he says as like gospel, that's also a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Listen and pull out some fucking shit from it and see what he's saying and see how you can adapt some of it to what's going on. I think that's the better way of looking at it. Now, to his point, he says that they should do what the military calls a tactical pause, right? Just stop. let them fucking destroy themselves, and then you fucking ride in and like, look what we're doing. I think that's a bad idea. I fundamentally don't agree with that. Like you said, get caught trying, right? Like, these motherfuckers are going to destroy themselves. He's 100% true.
And by the way, with like, I'm not saying that like, oh, Democrats need to swoop in to keep the government open.
No, I actually agree with him on that.
Yeah, like that's not what I'm saying here. Again, like, the messaging from the Democratic Party on the upcoming continuing resolution that's going to have to get passed is the right one. Hey, Republicans have enough votes to do this themselves, and in both the House and the Senate, they have the president. We can step back and chill. Let them handle it. They're the governing party. Like, Republicans are already trying to trot out the Democrats are gonna let the government shut down thing, line of speech, and people are like, sorry, bro, like that doesn't fucking hold water.
You're in charge of all three branches,
right?
So, look, I like that idea. You don't give them anything. Oh, well, the government's going to shut down if you don't vote with us. That sounds like a you problem, not an us problem. It sounds like a you problem. You are in control of all three branches of government. What you looking at me for, bro? Like, you got it. So, you got both houses. Get it done. But to Carville's point, they know they can't get it done. They know that they're going to have to come to Democrats. And in the past, Democrats would save them. Don't. And now if the media goes, well, why did the Democrats keep the government open? Their job isn't to placate to Republicans' bullshit. Their job is to work for the democracy, to do better by it. If that means it's shut down until these dumb fucking idiots figure it out, then it's shut down.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, like, we're happy to help you vote for this, but get Elon Musk the fuck away from the inner workings of government. If that's going to happen.
DOGE ends. It's gone. Don't play nice. It's gone. And like, hard demands. Well, if Elon Musk could only come in on Mondays and Wednesdays, that'd be great. Nah, fuck that. That guy is out of government. That guy is no longer working in government at all. Big Balls and his fucking crew of idiots, they're gone. They're gone. All of it is gone. You put back that funding for USAID, and we see that shit for real. You put those people back to work. For real. No bullshit. That's what you do. Play fucking hardball. They don't want to play? Oh, well. Sucks to be you, bro. Sucks to be you. You're going to cause fucking chaos in government? Then you're going to fucking pay the consequences for it. Like, that's just, it is what it is. So, in effect, I do actually agree with him that you do need to just let these guys blow themselves up. But I think you don't stand there and just be like, you don't just cross your hands and just go, okay, well, we'll just see. No, You call these guys out. You go on TV. You fucking say whatever you got to say and be like, we're not helping you. We are not going to help you. You figure it out. If they can't figure it out, that's their problem. They got the votes. They have the votes. They just can't get their psychos together.
They proved that they have the votes. We'll talk about it later on.
Yeah, you have the votes. They just can't get all of their psychos to agree. But that sounds like a you problem, not an us problem.
Right.
So, I love it. So, I think Carville is correct on its face, but I think the detail, especially the like, just sit back and don't do anything, I disagree with that. That's the part I don't agree with at all. And also, like, people gave him a bunch of shit. They're like, oh, well, you said that Kamala Harris was going to fucking mop the floor with Trump. Yeah, that was probably before all of the purging of so many people off the voter rolls. That probably has an effect on, whether or not she was going to win, amongst many other things. And I'm sorry, I'm very much living in the thought process that this is not a fair fucking election at all. At this point, I can't ignore what feels very, very fucking obvious to me. So
yeah, I think it was completely fair, and I think Americans are just fucking idiots.
I think both things can be true. How about that? I think Americans absolutely can be big fucking idiots, but I also think I just no. I'd like watching how they operate now inside the government when they're trying to gain access to the code base for shit and stuff like that, where they're just like, we're just auditing. It's the same MO they used for the voting machines. I can't definitively tell you like they did X, Y, Z. I can't say that. But that is a very uneasy feeling that I personally have. So, nothing could possibly go wrong here, Brad.
No.
Tell us why this software to automate the firing of government employees is probably not a big deal.
So I did not even know this. Apparently, the DOD 20 years ago developed a program called AutoRIF, which is stands for Automated Reduction in Force, and apparently it's been used by a lot of agencies to expedite when they need to whittle down workforce. Apparently, don't really know how it works specifically, but that's a thing that government agencies have used in the past. Well, guess who has code access to this program that makes it real super easy to fire people?
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome. Yeah, it's not great. I think, obviously, like, they're already micro targeting with the firings that they've done so far. Like probationary employees, like people that could be fired very easily without cause. That's who they primarily have been going after in a lot of these agencies where they're making cuts. But yeah, now they're looking to make this potentially even more efficient. And so basically the way the program works is that when an agency needs to make a big reduction, their HR departments create like lists that rank the employees who would be, who possibly might be under the gun, essentially. And in the past, all of these lists, this data has been manually confirmed, and employees are allowed to like see this in advance. So like it doesn't come like a bolt out of the blue sort of thing. I guess it's kind of similar to like stack ranking. Like a lot of jobs use stack ranking for, duties and stuff like that, just so you can see where you stand in comparison to your colleagues. I can't imagine that once DOGE gets their fucking fingers in this, that it's going to work with such scrutiny and manual oversight.
Or be publicly available. There's no way that's
right. And again, like we've already seen all of these a lot of these people they fired are in essential positions looking after things like our nuclear arsenal or our response to the bird flu, which is popping off right now, or things that they then have to scramble. Yeah. Which they then have to scramble in order to get those people back because they move too quickly and not vetting what they're doing. Having a program that makes it super easy to do that, I don't think is going to be very helpful. So,
yeah. I'm not a fan of mass automated firings. That feels like a really bad idea. Hey, why don't we just build a rubric and just go down the list and just can all these people? I think it's incredibly stupid. Again, that's a very startup sort of move fast, break things logic. And that only works well when you just fundamentally don't care about anyone. And look, I think that's true for them in this case. They fundamentally don't care about anybody that they're firing. But the problem is, like, working for the government, and as vast as the government is, it is the number one employer in the entire country. You can't just knock swaths of people off and just put them on unemployment. Like, I mean, yes, technically you can, but it feels like a really bad idea because what you're doing is you're ripping apart the system which undergirds the entire country. It's not like we got rid of 5 accountants because we have another 10 accountants at Joe's startup. That's not the same. Oh, maybe paychecks are like, we're going to have to work a little bit into the night to get it done that we would have gotten it done at 3:00 normally. That's not what this is. When you knock people out of government systems like that, and especially if you're using it automated, my guess is it's not going to be doing a lot of overlap looking. It's just like, we don't need this entire department. We don't need this entire lab. We don't need this entire group, which means you may think you understand what that group does, but there may be something major and very serious that group does that nobody else touches. And then you lose that institutional knowledge and you're like, oh shit, why are the launch codes not being changed for the nuclear weapons? Oh, well, you fired the guys who do this one thing.
But and by the way, like, you see this in private in the private sector all the time. Like think about where you work and think about like the things that you like that you do in your role that you just kind of do that aren't like written down anywhere, that aren't like part of an SOP. Exactly. And if your job fired you tomorrow, think of certain things that would just fucking go haywire without realizing like, oh shit, like I didn't realize Jim did this stuff all the time, because like, you know, like not everything gets written down all the time. Like everyone's moving faster in the day. You don't think about it. It just becomes kind of part of your routine and you don't really give it a second thought. Why would you assume that the federal government or any bureaucracy works any differently? Right. I guarantee you it works the same way, where it's not like very specifically charting down, all right, Jim does this and Ted does that. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I can tell you why they don't think that way. None of these people have ever had regular jobs, Brad.
No.
That's the difference. Like quite literally. And when would they have ever experienced that? If you've only ever been the CEO or the CTO or the CFO or something like that, when have you ever been like, oh shit, remember when Brian knew that one thing? You don't have any idea, because institutional knowledge is not the job of the CEO. It's not. It's the reason why it is the most turned over position in most corporations, right? Oh, fucking figurehead. Get rid of him. Fucking put another person in. Who cares? Just what's your vision? Yeah, your vision. The board runs shit, right? You're just you're the dancing monkey we send out there, right? So they literally don't have any experience in being around people with just institutional knowledge of things, because it's just not what they do. It's just not what they do, which is why you should always want a president or people in charge of the government, people who work their way up. That's why you don't actually want just rich people who have like bought their way to that fucking seat and then you just give them this job, because they don't have any connection. They don't have any connection to what it is to like work your way through the government. There's a reason that Joe Biden was so successful. Joe Biden worked his way through being in the Senate and understanding the machinations of what it is to write bills and to get bills passed and to fucking glad hand and like move people and give a little, take a little.
That's why he was able to achieve so much despite not having Democratic control of the House for 2 years in his presidency.
Exactly.
He still got bills passed.
Right. Because he understands what the fuck the actual nuts and bolts of that job are, right? There's a reason why somebody like a Barack Obama can move people in like, just like emotionally can move them or get them to do things that he wants on a political level. Because this dude was doing shoe leather fucking neighborhood work with people. He didn't jump like, hi, I'm Barack Obama, I'm president now. Like he didn't start out like that. Trump didn't take his dad's business where he's like I think he was like collecting rent at one point, right? Like the movie Surf with Joe Pesci or some shit, right? But he didn't fucking grind his way up to then running, the Trump business, right? Like what's the guy? Rex Tillerson, right? That dude started out at like the lowest job at Exxon and grinded his way all the way to the CEO. That guy understands what it is like. You can hate Rex Tillerson all you want. I'm sure I probably do. But like you can hate that guy and everything he fucking stands for, besides calling Donald Trump a fucking moron, which he was right about. But that guy understands the machinations of running a corporation like that and what it takes to like, from the guy pumping the fucking gas to the guy cleaning the fucking toilets to the CEO. He understands all that because he worked those jobs. That matters a lot. So Trump has never done that. He just came in basically and was like, I'm the boss. So what the fuck does he know about any of this other shit? He doesn't. Elon Musk, another privileged asshole. What does he know about anything? He's only ever been a corporate executive his entire life. He doesn't have any experience in that shit. None. Just a quick case in point on this. When they were doing all these like crazy firings before, I don't know if you heard about this. They fired a guy in one of the national parks. He was a federal employee. They fired one of these guys. This guy was the only guy with all the keys to the bathrooms. And they were like, we got to call Brian because like they just like fired dude when he was at home. Like, fuck off, don't come into work. He was like, all right, bet, fuck you. And they're like, bro, we can't get into the bathrooms. It's like,
that sounds like a you problem. Yeah. Better call a locksmith.
Yeah, I burnt those keys. And by the way, that's exactly what don't need it. Fuck off, right? Yep. But luckily, you know, the guy is probably a decent dude, right? Because he don't hate the people he's working with, right?
No,
But
it's not. You know,
that's
so.
but that's a prime example of that. You have to have that institutional knowledge.
And it doesn't help to have and Elon Musk believes this, and therefore Donald Trump believes this. Where like they think that like, you know, a third of these fucking jobs are fake anyway, like that don't have people that are actually working them for some reason, which is insane. But okay.
Yeah.
All
right. Next up, think about government contracts. Go for it.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, Elon Musk, one of the other things he's bragging about, he's like, "Oh, we're canceling all these government contracts that are spending all this money, and look how much fucking money that we saved." Here's the thing about government contracts, though, is that a lot of times they're paid up front, or a lot of times the financial obligation is already so firmly in place that you can't just kind of back out of them because they're already kind of set up. Exactly. And so 40% of the contracts that DOGE has canceled will actually not save the federal government any money whatsoever because the services that the contracts provided are already bought and paid for.
Yep. And by the way, remember this headline, 40% of contracts, because there's going to come a time when those contracts, normally about a yearly basis, they're going to come up again. And these are going to be all the things that the government needs that they're just like, we don't need it until you do. And then you're scrambling like, oh shit, what are all the things? Why isn't there someone showing up? Okay. All right. What happened? Like all these contracts that you're canning, are those consultant contracts? Because I worked for the government for almost 20 years as a consultant. If you just killed my contract, all right, cool. I ain't showing up to work one day, dude. And then me and all of the people I work with ain't showing up to work. So then what? What happened?
And when people think government contracts, that like they think of like Halliburton and they think of like Lockheed Martin or SpaceX or all this other stuff. But you also have to realize that like government contracts also might be with Staples to buy office equipment and furniture that you need to do stuff, or with a janitorial service, possibly like if you don't hire a like cleaning, person, like if you contract someone to do it, like there are services that contracts provide, or like, hey, come back to the office. Oh shit, what happened to our coffee machine? Where's our fucking vending machines? All those were contracts. They canceled those. Sorry.
Yep.
So
coffee's for closers, Brett. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So again, just don't think of like, I know when we talk about government contracts, we think about these like billions of dollar contracts with these giant mega corporations that are kind of locked into place, but that's not what the majority of government contracts are that exist.
No, not at all. So
it's stuff that you need to run the business essentially.
Mm-hmm. So so just put a pin on that one for 1 year from now. And they're going to be fucking scrambling to find out why they don't have any fucking pens or notepads in any of the government offices. And Staples is like, sorry, bro. Like,
yeah, what do you want me to do?
Yep.
Oh, you want to renegotiate? Cool. We just raised your prices 20%.
You goddamn right.
Next story. Sometimes like a story comes along that just really frames everything in the most clear way that you possibly could frame it. And this is one of those stories. So Trump and Pete Hegseth last week fired CQ Brown, who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Yes.
This is a guy who was incredibly qualified for his job, someone who had been in the position for the last 18 months or so. He was a fighter pilot in the Air Force. He was he was like a real fucking dude, like a widely respected, like a real fucking like a military dude who knows what the fuck he's doing. He also happens to be black.
Well,
and
strike one, Brad.
That's right. We can't have some black dude heading up the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Like that's just not going to fucking happen. And so
EI hired this guy clearly.
Yeah. And so who are you gonna take this very qualified black dude and who are you gonna replace him with? Well, it's interesting because you're gonna replace him with a 3-star general, not even a 4-star general, a 3-star general who happens to be white, who has a cool nickname.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off when I read it.
Yeah. But is so unqualified to serve in this position that a waiver needed to be signed by Trump in order to appoint him into this role.
This is DEI. For
this
white
is
men.
DEI, yes.
Yeah, for white men. There is nothing that is more pathetic than having an incredibly qualified black man who has had to do, I'm sure, twice as much as every white guy he's ever had to fucking deal with for the positions in which that he has obtained. Again, he was a fighter pilot, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how good of a pilot you need to be a fucking fighter pilot? Now imagine that, but also being black. Okay, like they're not gonna like, you know, there was that whole time where like Candace Owens and all these other fucking jackass Republicans were like, if I see a black person as a pilot, I get really worried. I'm thinking to myself, as many have pointed out, this is going to be a great flight because that black person had to work super hard for white people to be like, here, have this multi-million-dollar plane. We entrust you with it. Get the fuck out of here. So to replace him with a guy whose nickname is literally Raisin Cane, that's quite literally his nickname, is ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous. But it, like you said, it encapsulates everything they're all about. It turns out that the whole idea of being in a job based on merit is only a valid argument if you are alabaster white.
Yep.
Because what you're saying is everybody else who has these positions are worse than every white person who applied. That's what you're saying. Right? You can replace them with any white person because that is what merit is only hiring white people. Okay. So we're betraying the idea of merit. I wonder if there's going to be another thing in this week's episode about betraying a fundamental thing that Donald Trump has been screaming about for years. If only I have like 5 million guesses as to what it could be, but yeah, it's hard. So yeah, shocking news. The black Joint Chiefs of Staff gets fired.
Yep.
This was a fun one. This little news nugget came out today. I thought it was hilarious. Ron DeSantis is creating a Florida DOGE task force to review state spending, including universities. He has announced that he is going to use AI, by the way, to go in and check for government waste and fraud. And someone made the point, bro, who's the governor of Florida right now?
Not just who's the governor of Florida right now.
Who's
controlled Florida politics for the last 30 years?
26 years, Republicans have had a trifecta control of Florida, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The call is coming from inside the house. Like, what are you talking about? We got to find all the waste and stuff like that. Why haven't you guys been finding it for 26 years?
Where you been? Who generated all this waste?
And fraud. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. My guess is this is just an AI program and an initiative to fire anybody with any sort of DEI brownification of Florida. I mean, I guess white people and Cuban conservatives are the only people who are going to be allowed to keep jobs in the government.
It's amusing because, again, like I'm pretty sure this is simply a ploy by DeSantis to be like, look at me, like I'm also a real Doge guy, so that like he can try to run for the party's nomination in 2028, like trying to keep himself relevant. But like, bro, like, are you not seeing the way the wind is blowing on this on the federal level, and you want to fucking do it on a state level as well? Doesn't seem like a good idea to me, but hey.
You know what? Keep going. Keep going. So maybe he'll be really cool with like firing a bunch of veterans and just like the U.S. government tried to do and see what happens. Like, all right, keep going. All right, coming right out of the gate.
When you react, I think I posted, did I post this in our chat or did you post
I think
it
you did.
with the
Yes, you did.
It's been a while since I've seen you react with a level of incredulity that I saw you react to this. And that's saying something because it's been a pretty incredulous couple of weeks.
For folks obviously not in our private chat, here's what I said. I don't even need to read it because I remember. My response was in all capital letters, nigga, come on. Like, this is fucking insane. Trump says, okay, so I won't, you know what? It's not for me to say, okay? I don't want to take the man's thunder. I have the clip. Let's play what Trump is proposing, and then, we're going to we'll do a live react. So, you tell me to pause. And
how long is this clip?
It's like a minute and 30 seconds, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a lot of stupid shit in a minute. It's like a lot crammed into that. All right, so here's the clip.
We're going to be doing something else that's going to be very, very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship.
Hold on.
And
so
card plus
green card privileges plus. So now citizenship is like a fucking like rewards program at Applebees, basically. You could be a green card member of the United States or level up to the gold card membership and see what other fun benefits come at you. For example, if you're a gold card member, no racism will be lobbied against you on purpose.
Excellent. Gold membership also comes with, I'm reading in the article here, you also get $5 off at Bennigan's. I believe.
Yeah. You know what? Another benefit of gold card membership status, you get assigned your own Republican politician that you can tell what to do. Essentially, that's very exciting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's not bad. All right, let's let this golden calf continue.
Wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. Never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks out? Do you want to say a couple of words about it?
So this motherfucker said, no one's ever thought of this.
Get him off of the screen. I don't want to fucking look at his dumb face once he's done talking. So,
this motherfucker said, let me just rewind here for the Commerce Secretary. Because he goes onto a bit of a sycophantic rant, which we'll talk about.
Oh, cool. Love that.
I mean, this guy just like he's just given confidence and reasonable.
Howard Lutnick looks like a mob attorney. That's what he looks like.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out what he looks like. He looks like a mob lawyer.
I mean, it's fitting, right? Like it's very fitting. So what's wild is, okay, he says, look, we're going to take these people $5 million. Like, no one's ever thought of this before. There's a reason no one's ever thought of this before, because you're selling citizenship like you're selling admission to a fucking concert. Well, they'll be very rich, and that's really cool. Bro, you spent the last number of years telling us how immigration was bad and that it changes the fundamentals of the country and it's not right. And, we got to keep the country the way it is and all this other stuff. But for $5 million, people can basically launder $5 million into your pocket, carry favor with you, and get all of the privileges of being an American citizen. Not only that, you also have allowed you've also allowed a situation where we are meant to believe that you're going to be reasonable about the vetting process. We'll get back to the video. Like, you're not going to be reasonable about the vetting process. Like at a certain point in the video, he talks about like, well, if we sell 1 million of these, we'll have $5 trillion, right? Okay, but here's the problem, dude. One, you're going to find 1 million people to buy this? That's insane. I don't think so. But two, that's how I already know that you don't care about the vetting process, because your front of mind about this is how do we make money off of it? Well, if we sell 10 million of these, then we'll have $50 trillion. And the deficit is only, 48 trillion. So we could pay off the deficit. And then you can have all these mob bosses buying gold cards.
I mean, surely there are 10 million people around the world who aren't already U.S. citizens, who just have 5 million just laying around to fucking to
they're
fucking
all
buy.
in fucking
Serious question though. I wonder, like, and this is an impossible question to answer. How many people though do you really think exist in the world who have enough disposable income in liquid assets to have $5 million to call on as soon as it's needed to do this, who don't either already live in the United States and are not already a citizen, or aren't at least like a temporary resident who can pretty much come and go as they please? I'd have to imagine that number is probably relatively small, with the exception of maybe a shitload of people in China, a shitload of people in not a shitload, but like a lot of fucking oligarchs in Russia, maybe some criminal, and that's kind of the whole point, is that like a lot of the people who would qualify for this are probably involved in crime in some way, shape, or form. One has to imagine.
Look, here's the thing. I think that's the point. Like, as much as the gold card thing is dumb and is really dumb, and it's selling off the democracy in very weird ways, and I am 100% against that, that's the point. Yeah. I think it is, you know what it is? It's a new Trump meme coin. It's a meme coin. Yeah. That's all it is. Here's a way, here's a big fat wallet. You just shove fucking money in there, and then I know that it was you, John, who did it. So yeah, you get all the fucking privileges. Come on in. Like, do you have to live here? Do you have to live in the United States? Can you spend your $5 million? Get your fucking, you get your gold card. You are a fucking citizen. And then you just like, all right, well, I was back in China. Oh, did I get arrested? Well, I'm an American citizen. I'm an American citizen. You can't do that to me. What are all the privileges? Do you know how important it is for people overseas to get an American passport? An American passport opens doors that other passports simply cannot.
Or think about this.
That's
how many Russian oligarchs are currently under financial sanction from the U.S.? You think the U.S. financially sanctions its own citizens?
Nope.
Spoiler alert: they do not.
So you get yourself a nice American passport, like Krosnov Trump, right? And then you go back to Russia, you're good. Because he says, oh, the gold card is a path to citizenship. Bullshit. The gold card is citizenship.
It is citizenship.
It is.
That's kind of the whole fucking thing.
You're not paying $5 million to then go through a bunch of rigmarole. That's a lie that rich people are trying to tell poor people, to be like, no, they go through the same.
Oh yeah, you think the gold card holders are getting the fucking citizenship test and going to the fucking swearing in ceremony and all that jazz? Absolutely not. No. Absolutely
cool. Not. We got your payment. Thanks. Here's your fucking receipt. Boom. You're a fucking.
Here's your U.S. passport.
Right there. Stamp.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Yeah. So this idea that that's not what's going to happen is total bullshit. It's just total and utter bullshit. I think this is one of the bigger stories of the week, honestly, because this guy sold Republicans a bill of goods about how immigration was so bad and how you didn't want all these other people coming in and changing the way the country works and how it functions. And now this motherfucker's like, shit's for sale, bro. Like, you want one? Like, who gives a fuck, right? Where are all the Republicans who were bitching and complaining about Indians coming over to America with H-1B visas and taking American jobs? These motherfuckers, they're not even taking your jobs. They're coming over just spending money, and now they got the same privileges as you. I respect people crossing the Rio Grande and fighting tooth and nail to get themselves and their kids out of a hostile situation And those people fighting and working hard and doing the fucking hard work and scrounging and surviving, I respect those people to get a fucking citizenship because they actually are trying to make something and they're trying to do something and they're hardworking people and they don't do crimes and shit like as much as Republicans are like, oh, the immigrants are just killing everything.
And what is the she's like, oh, they're going to create lots of jobs when they come over. Like, I'm sorry.
Why-
like if someone from China, if someone from China is like, oh, cool, I'm a U.S. citizen now, let me open a fucking factory in America where I have to pay wages that are like 10x what I'm currently paying right now. Like, get the fuck out of here.
It makes no sense.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. I'm going to here's my $5 million and then I'm going to leave. By the way, here's an aspect of this that I hadn't thought about until just now. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you no one else has thought about this and they haven't really written about it. I am a Chinese citizen. Mm-hmm. I am a citizen anywhere in the world, right? I got my $5 million. I got a clean record. I get my gold card. I'm an American citizen. What stops the Chinese government or any other government saying, you know what? We're going to pay. We'll give you the $5 million. Mm-hmm. You, and you 30, you 100, you 5,000 Chinese citizens. Now you're all American citizens. Cool. Now go run for office in all these different places.
Yep.
And you slowly just seed in people to start taking over the fucking country that are loyal to fucking China. They are loyal to Iran. They're loyal to whatever. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be all China. China could have a conversation with Russia and like, all right, dude, we're going to put 5,000 people. You put 5,000 people. All right, and just split the country up. What's stopping them?
Sure. What's stopping them? Here's another question I have for you that I didn't think about until just now. Hey, Jay, was Osama bin Laden destitute or was he incredibly wealthy?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, a little bit of money. A little bit of that.
Just a tad.
Money.
Yeah, just a tad. So, I mean, again, like if you have a government who is rolling in the fucking dough, who has loose terrorists or loose connections with terrorist organizations, again, to your point, what's to stop them from just being like, here's your 5 million, here's your 5 million, here's your 5 million. Go to the U.S. Set up shop.
Yep.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. Oh, they'll be vetted hard. No, they won't.
Nope.
The vet is $5 million. That's the vet.
Yeah, the actual vetting for citizens is why it takes like fucking 8 years to
it's a pain in the ass
to jump through that. It fucking sucks. Ask anyone who's had to emigrate over here how fucking painful the U.S. citizenship process is. Yeah.
My father-in-law had to have Eagleton had to write a special law for him to stay in the country because his visa was expiring. And Eagleton actually wrote, this was like right before his entire life got destroyed by that like psychology report. But he quite when he was in Congress, he literally wrote he signed a special basically bill for my father-in-law, right? Because they do like a one-off like Joe Smith type of shit. So he could stay in the country because he was a surgeon. Right. And so that he could stay in and like keep his visa going or whatever so that he could then move into becoming a citizen, which he's been a citizen for fucking decades at this point. But yeah, it's really hard. And that guy worked his ass off and came to this country and worked his ass off and helped people and saved lives and everything else.
Right. And was a guy who is legitimately like in a highly skilled profession, highly desired, like somebody you absolutely want here. To your point, like saving lives, like making people's lives better, and helping the economy. Like it's not like he fucking operates by himself. He hires a whole, staff.
He worked for the fucking VA, by the way. He worked for the fucking VA.
There you go. Even more so. And it still took that dude all these hoops and all these like fucking hurdles that you have to jump over just to get there.
Yep. So this idea of like, this is like crossing the Rubicon from MAGA hypocrisy to me. Like this is it. Like it seems very silly, but to me,
if you
like
believe
immigration
the that they've been selling like that, I mean, sure, I guess
But but I'm just
it's going to come as a shock to their vote to some of their voters. I'll tell you. So
but I just find that really fascinating that immigration is such a big deal to them. When push came to shove, this dude was like, "I'll sell it for I'll buy that for $1," right? Like, and they're just like, "Yeah, it's fine." Like, Where are you guys?
By the way, even like one of the press people that were in the Oval Office for this presentation, even asked him, they're like, would Russian oligarchs be eligible for this? And Trump's response was, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people.
Mm-hmm. That's what he said. Here, let's finish up the video. That is it's quite literally what he said.
Ridiculous EB-5 program. We're going to end the EB-5 program. We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card, which is really a green card gold. So they'll be able to pay $5 million to the U.S. government. They'll have to go through vetting, of course. We're going to make sure they're wonderful, world-class global citizens. They can come to America. The president can give them a green card.
Globally.
Yeah.
With all the money. Yes, we got it.
And they can invest in America, and we can use that money to reduce our deficit. Why do we give out lotteries of green cards? Why do we give out EB-5 for green cards? The President of the United States understands that the right answer is, why don't we eliminate the deficit of the United States of America instead?
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible
I didn't know
for
there
a
was
gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they could afford $5 million.
They're not as wealthy as they used to be. Bro, yes, they are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're the ones who have been kept very safe by a lot of this stuff.
Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.